Good morning, kiddies. It is January the 3rd, because once again, I'm a day ahead. That's because even though I'm a big fat bastard, I can run really, really fast. That's why I'm 12 hours ahead. Chilly, 57 degrees this morning, but I probably could have done without the shirt, but better safe than sorry. It's okay to free the nipple, but you don't want an erect nipple. That's the difference between art and pornography. The hard nipple is pornography, and the free the nipple, the soft pink nipple, is art. That's the difference. You're welcome. January 3rd, your reputation is what people think you are. Yes. Your character is what you are. Well, there you go. That's an interesting little spin on shit. You want your reputation and your character to match, but concentrate on your character, because that's what you control, like we talked about the other day, right? You may be able to fool others about the kind of person you really are for a time, but it seldom lasts for long. The surest way to make sure your character and your reputation are the same is to live your life in such a way that nothing you do would embarrass you. If it were printed on the front page of the newspaper. Remember newspapers? I barely remember newspapers, and I'm a hell of a lot older than you. Wow, that's crazy, newspapers. So live your life in such a way that nothing you do would embarrass you if it were printed on the front page of the newspaper. Well, I can wholeheartedly agree that's a great idea. I cannot look you in the eyes and say that I haven't done plenty of shit that is fucking embarrassing. A lot. I still do shit that's embarrassing. So I'm sorry to let you down, Napoleon. Good character means not ever taking ethical shortcuts. Well, that's true. Even though everyone else may be doing so. Right. A good example of that was the Navy. Everybody was taking roids to get faster gains while lifting weights, and I refused to do it. I told that story in one of the videos because on the plane ride out to my duty station, I read an article on the In-Flight magazine about Lyle Alzado, who was a football player for the Oakland Raiders back in the day, and he took a bunch of roids and he fucked his whole insides up, his liver, kidneys, everything like shut down because of the roids. So because I had read that, not because I was noble or great or principled or any of that shit, it's just I had read that this guy fucked his whole body up by taking roids. So I refused to do it even though the gang was doing it. You could get Black Beauties, anabolic steroids down in Tijuana over the counter, dirt cheap, and literally every guy I lifted with, every guy in my unit was taking those to get bigger, faster, and I didn't. And then with my license, my real estate license, I made sure never to screw anybody over in deals. Now that was because I wanted to do the right thing, and I'm not a scumbag. But what I used to tell my agents was, even if you're not principled, if you don't feel like I do that it's wrong to fuck people over and instant karma's going to come and bite you in the ass someday, if you get caught, and you will get caught at some point if you keep doing shit like that, you'll lose your license. And I was like, well, I don't know about you, but I have made a lot of money with my license, and I plan to make a lot more money with my license. So if I do something unethical and lose my license, there goes that, license to print money, basically, which is what a real estate license is if you know how to use it. So I would appeal to people, hey, if you're not there ethically, think practically. And if you lose your license, you lose your ability to make money through your license. So I told that every agent I hired. Even though everyone else may be doing so. You build good character by doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Well, there you go. And I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, don't be a scumbag. And we also talked a lot about Jacksonville and what a small town it is. So one of the guys I worked with when I was a loan officer at Bank of America named George Mateo, we stayed in touch, just whatever, through Facebook and everything. And he reached out to me today because he wants to get into investing. So he had a couple questions, and he had a question about maybe buying some land and building. I hooked him up with Randy McKnight, who's a builder, custom home builder. does exactly what he's doing. So that's networking, right? That's what we talk about all the time on here. I was able to help him out, and I'll help him more, this year if he needs it. He's already done one deal. Last year he did a deal, and he used a private lender who was one of my agents last year, Glenn. So it's a small world. Jacksonville, like I said the other day, a couple days ago, is a huge friggin' town, but it's so weird how everybody knows everybody in that town, especially, like I said, in the real estate investment community. There's 300 people that went to that Yellowbird Connect before COVID, the last one. They kept building. It's 150, 200, 250. He was getting a bigger venue before COVID. He signed up to move to a bigger venue that would hold more people because it just kept growing and growing and growing. So I'd say maybe there's 500 investors, like people active in the thing, landlords, investors. I know there's probably more landlords, but 500 probably active people like who are doing it, on a daily basis and acquiring properties and selling properties and all that. So I can't wait for the whole COVID crap to be over with whatever. If they're going to force vaccines down people's throats or whatever they got to do just to open it up and put things back to normal and let people breathe again, because I'd love to see how big that thing gets. I wish I was there, part of it, because that is one of the things I miss, is the networking with other real estate professionals, investors. That was always a highlight of my month, going to the Yellowbird and the Jack's Reef one over at the Ramada that I ran for a while. I liked those two meetings. I liked being around, friends. It's like Cheers on TV, the old TV show Cheers, where everybody knows your name, right? You go to the bar. Well, instead of the bar, you go to the real estate investor meetup, and everybody knows your name, and you know everybody's name, and you talk real estate, you do deals. It was cool. It was definitely cool. That's probably, other than the variety of food, which has more to do with me living in Pai and not Chiang Mai, because there's plenty of variety of food in Chiang Mai. I just did a video on the German buffet place, which was great. So if I live in Chiang Mai a year, I'm sure I'll have the food situation locked down pretty good, while still hitting my goal of 100 kilos, which is 220 pounds. But that's something I miss, and I always will miss, is the camaraderie of the other real estate investors in Jacksonville. One of the things I'm looking to do once I do transition down to Chiang Mai is do real estate down there. Now, I'm not allowed to own a brokerage because I'm Farang, right? We can't own businesses, but I can invest and do some stuff. So I'm actually looking at condos right now, I think I mentioned, as opposed to businesses. My first plan when I came here was to buy 3 condos and set them up, Airbnb, and just live off of that money. And instead I went for the businesses. Well, COVID, right? It's killing especially a tourist business, guest house. So I'm kind of back to square one. I'm looking again at taking some money and putting it into properties, because people still need a place to live, even during COVID. Even up here in Pai, I see people saying, oh, I'm looking for a 1 or 2 bedroom house with a kitchen in nature, fast Wi-Fi, cheap. Yeah, imagine that. They all want it cheap and they want a house, but I don't have any houses to rent them. I have a guest house, which is not any of those things I talked about. It's not 2 bedrooms. It doesn't have a kitchen. It's not out in nature. It's in the middle of the city. So very frustrating for me as a service provider not to be able to provide service. But people are looking in Chiang Mai too. People are looking in Phuket. People are looking in Pattaya. And whenever COVID wave 2 or COVID-19 finally dies and goes away, a lot of people said it would happen after the election. Well, the election's over practically. And it's still going on. In fact, the second wave is picking up speed right now, lockdowns and all that crap. So when it's finally fucking gone, I think Pattaya and Phuket will pick back up. So I'm really eyeing those two, because they're about half price right now. You can get a condo for $500,000 in Pattaya and about $1 million baht in Phuket, and or the other way around. No, yeah, Phuket's $1 million and Pattaya is about 500,000. Or reverse. I'm sorry, I forget. One of them is cheaper than the other by about half, but both of them are about half of what they had been traditionally before COVID. So I think those are two good investments that I'll definitely going to look at, moving forward. So that's it for today. D.L. Cummins, I've talked about him before, the little libertarian curmudgeon. He's got a podcast that he's going to start doing videos for. I'll put a link or something in. You can go check him out. He's a very bright guy, interesting guy. He posted a thing today that said, being obese is hard, the health issues and shit like that. Eating right is hard. Choose your hard. Being married is hard. Being divorced is hard. Choose your hard. And then it did another one. I forget what the third one was, but the point was choose your hard. Life is hard. Choose your hard. I thought that was pretty cool. So I'll put that little thing up as the front instead of the little $sign with the heart today. Just a cool thing that caught my eye. That's it, kiddies. Be good. Like I said, let's work towards making this. I just told you my plans for the new year to make it COVID-proof or recession-proof or tourist-proof. So adapt, overcome, do what you can to make this year a better one than last year. The government with their lockdowns have definitely thrown us a curveball. So do what you can just to not only survive but thrive.